Replacing ball.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me try and get the live stats real quick. Live stat.
Volleyball.
Yep, I got it. Volleyball. Great. All right. Okay. Here we go. Ready?
Yep.
We have 0 visitors right now, so. Hello and welcome, volleyball fans, to Bowling Green, Ohio, in the Stroh Center for today's Bowling Green Volleyball Invitational matchup between the Marshall Thundering Herd and the IUPUI Jaguars. I'm Shane Nissen, and next to me is my co-pilot, Ethan Price. We're getting ready to hopefully see a great game of volleyball here in Bowling Green. Ethan, what are you most excited for in this game, and what are you looking forward to?
I'm hoping that we have our first set, like our first game that goes to 5 sets. So far, every game has only gone to 3 or 4 sets. I want to see a close, competitive game that hopefully goes to 5.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all hoping for here as both teams are getting ready to square off as the judge takes his perch and both teams are in a huddle getting ready and preparing for, hopefully, as you said, a great match of volleyball and a couple of great sets here. We are looking forward to this one as both teams break the huddles, and we are getting ready for some volleyball.
Both teams coming into this game are 1-1 in the BGSU Invitational. They each played a game and lost to Bowling Green State University, and they both beat Nicholls State.
Bowling Green, our hometown team, Bowling Green, did very well in this tournament, going 3-0 and only dropping 2 sets throughout the entirety of the tournament. So the Falcons walk out 3-0. One of these teams is going to be looking to walk out 2-1 as IUPUI gets ready to serve, and it's Rebecca Schlechte. She serves it. It's taken by Marshall. Marshall sets it up, pushes it back over to the net to IUPUI. IUPUI serves, spikes it back in. It's dug out by Marshall. Marshall puts it back in, and it's on the floor for IUPUI. So that's a 1-0 start for Marshall, the Thundering Herd. As now Marshall takes a serve. She hits it. It's dug out by the Jaguars. Hit over to Marshall, and it's going to be blocked by the Jaguars, and it's going to be a point to Marshall. So Marshall starts out 2-0 here. And it's going to be another serve from the Marshall Thundering Herd. She hits it over, dug out, set up, spiked over the net, or lobbed over the net, dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd, and blocked back over the net, and IUPUI gets their first point of the first set of this game. It's 2-1 here in Bowling Green, Ohio. IUPUI getting ready to serve. It's Maddie Dean, a sophomore for IUPUI. She will be serving this one. She hits it over. It's dug out by Marshall. Marshall set. Spike and blocked by the Jaguars. It was Caitlin Johnson, a junior, that got up above the net and was able to put that one back down on the floor for a point for IUPUI. Maddie Dean serves again. Just over the net, dug out by Marshall. Marshall serves it, or sets it, puts it back over to that, and it's going to be a little bit of a miscommunication here between Rebecca Schlechte for IUPUI and Maddie Dean, as neither one of them, they kind of let it fall right in between them, and the score is 3-2 here in this set. As Marshall will serve. It is Lauren Mattmuller. She serves it over. dugout, and hit back over the net to Marshall. Dugout, set up, and hit right back over the net to IUPUI. IUPUI digs it out, sets it up, and spikes it over the net. Set by Marshall, and spike over. We got a good volley going here for both teams. Tried to be blocked by Marshall. Spike back over for Marshall, blocked by IUPUI, but it's going to be out of bounds. And that one will be a point to Marshall, as IUPUI was able to block it, but was not able to keep it in bounds. 4-2 in favor of Marshall. Served over the net to IUPUI. Dugout, set up, and spiked over the net to Marshall. Marshall sets it up, spikes it back over to, and that's going to be out of bounds long, as IUPUI gets a point and draws it back within one here. 4-3 in the first set of this game.
So far, we're getting what we were hoping for, a close and competitive first set so far.
Yes. It's going to be Rhiannon Schuneman for IUPUI. It's going to be a service error on her part, and the score is now 5-3 in favor of Marshall. Marshall now has to serve. It's Autumn Ellswick. She serves it over, dug out by Schuneman. Schuneman puts it back over. It's going to be a nice hit, a nice kill by Caitlin Johnson, a junior for IUPUI, and again brings it within one here, 5-4 in favor of Marshall. IUPUI has to serve. She serves it over. Set by Marshall, and hit right back over the net. So we have a little bit of a set right off the bat, off the serve, and a kill there by the Marshall Thundering Herd. That kill will go to Gabrielle Coulter of the Thundering Herd. 6-4 Thundering Herd here in the first set of this match, I should say. Sarah Shank serves it over for the Thundering Herd. Set up by the Jaguars. Jaguars spike it back over to the Thundering Herd. Spike back over, but out of bounds from Marshall. And this is a 6-5 game here in the first set. It's going back and forth here, right, Ethan?
Oh, yeah. This is definitely what we were hoping for. 6-5. No,
as we're going to have a substitution here for IUPUI. Elizabeth Scott comes out for Rachel Hickey. Rachel Hickey's going to serve. She serves it over to Marshall. Marshall digs it out. Set up by Marshall. Spiked over the net. Dug out by IUPUI. IUPUI sets it. Spikes it back over. Blocked. And almost got to.
Oh!
But it will not be gotten to as Marshall lets it fall. And the score is now tied at 6 here in the first set. Rachel Hickey to serve again for the Jaguars. Serves it over, dug out by Marshall. Marshall sets it up, spikes it over, and dug out by the Jaguars. That ball will be hit back over the net to Marshall. Dug out, set up, spiked, and that's going to be a nice kill there from Marshall. That one coming from Shelby Connolly for the Thundering Herd. Score is 7-6. Marshall serves it over. And that's going to be a service ace by the Marshall Thundering Herd. Number 5, Amber Weber on the service ace for the Marshall Thundering Herd. 8-6 Thundering Herd. Served over by Weber again. Dug out, set up, and hit back over the net by the Jaguars. And it's going to hit back over by Marshall quickly as it's going to be dug out. Spiked over the net, blocked by Marshall. Set up. And she's going to spike it back over, and it's going to be a point for the Jaguars. Maddie Dean with the hit, with the kill, I should say, on that one. And it's going to be serving now for IUPUI is going to be Haley Hoffman, a junior for the Jaguars. She serves it over, dug out by the Thundering Herd. Set up, spike back over, and it's not going to be able to be gotten to. Rachel Hickey falls a little bit short there and trying to get the dig. And that will be a point to Marshall. 9-7 is the score in the first set of this match. Thundering Herd serve it over. Dug out by the Jaguars. Set up and spiked over and blocked by the Marshall Thundering Herd. Dug out again by the Jaguars. Spiked over the net, and that's going to be a nice kill there from the IUPUI Jaguars. I believe that was Ellie Gaskill, a freshman, on the kill. She's going to be subbed out now right after that kill for the Jaguars. 9 to 8 in favor of the Thundering Herd. Served over by the Jaguars. And a little bit of miscommunication there by, a little bit of something happened at the net here. We're going to have it's going to be a point to Marshall. They blocked it, but and it was a little bit of miscommunication by the Jaguars as they were not able to get to it, and it's going to be served here by Marshall. Marshall serves it over, dug out by the Jaguars, set up and spike, dug out by Thundering Herd, spike up and spike back over to the Jaguars, set up, strike, and we're going to have a whistle. It's going to be a point to the Marshall Thundering Herd there, and it is now 11 to 8 in favor of the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd coming with a serve. She serves it over, and it's going to be a service error there by the Marshall Thundering Herd. That is Sierra DeBell for the Thundering Herd. As now IUPUI gets ready here to serve it over. She serves it over, dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd, but it's going to be go way out of bounds there by the Marshall Thundering Herd. It's going to be 11 to 10 now here in the first set of this match, or this. Yeah, in the first set of this match. As now IUPUI set to serve again. Dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd. Set up, spiked over the net, dug out, and it's going to be hit right to my co-pilot Ethan Price, and he did a nice job of blocking that one. As that came right over to him, it's going to be a point to the Marshall Thundering Herd, as they will now serve.
I did not see that coming at all. I just looked over, saw a ball, and tried to block it from hitting me.
And Marshall serves it over. Now it's going to be spiked back over by the IUPUI Jaguars. Spiked back over by the Thundering Herd, and that's a point for the Thundering Herd as the Jaguars were not able to dig it out. Thundering Herd up 13 to 10 here in the first set. Number 9, Lauren Mattmiller on the serve for the Thundering Herd. Dug out by the Jaguars. Going to be hit back over the net. Dug out by the Thundering Herd. Set up, and a little bit of a push over the net by the Thundering Herd. Now spike back over the net to the Thundering Herd. Set up, spike blocked by the Jaguars, and set up, straight back over the net by, and it's going to be a point to Marshall as Jaguars got a hold on the ball, but it went out of bounds, and no one was able to get the ball, as we're going to go to a timeout here by the Jaguars, and they're going to look to recuperate after falling down by 4 here. Looks like 3 points in a row scored by the Marshall Thundering Herd to make it 14 to 10. What do you thought so far here, Ethan, as you watch this game?
So far, it started out being a really competitive match, a really competitive first set here, and then all of a sudden, Marshall just kept rolling, and IUPUI, the Jaguars, had no response for him.
And yeah, as the Marshall Thundering Herd is starting to get on a roll here. 14 to 10 is the score here in the first set of this match. And they will look to keep that momentum going as we said, Jaguars calling a timeout here in the first set, and we're going to get ready to go. We got about 10 seconds left on the timeout counter. And we are ready to get started here as both teams are coming back out onto the court. Like I said, 14 to 10 in the first set of this game.
This is the final game in the BGSU Invitational.
It is the final game of the BGSU Invitational. As we said, BGSU has done very well as Marshall serves it over, dug out by the Jaguars, set up, and hit back over the net by the Jaguars. Dug out by the Thundering Herd, set up, and hit back over the net as Jaguars retrieve it. They will spike it back over. Dug out by the Thundering Herd, set up, and it's going to be hit back over the net. Dug out by the Jaguars. Hit up, and they will not be able to get to it. It's going to be a point to the Marshall Thundering Herd. The ball was hit a little bit awry on the set, and Caitlin Johnson, a junior for the Jaguars, could not get to it as Marshall will take another serve. Lauren Montmiller with it, and that's going to be a service error out of bounds way long there from the Marshall Thundering Herd, and the score is now 15-11 in this first set. Jaguars now serving. Ball's hit over. Dug out. No. I don't know, she misjudged that ball, but she didn't get a hand on it and instead kicked her foot out, and that's not going to work as the score is now 15-12 in favor of the Thundering Herd. Served by the Jaguars, and that's going to be miscalculated by the Thundering Herd again as she tries to set it up or dig it out, and that ball goes way out of bounds, and it is 15-13. So Jaguars here getting on a little roll. They've since the timeout they've won 3-1 here coming into the set. That ball hits the top of the net on the serve by the Jaguars. It's going to be spiked over and hit by the Jaguars, but she is not able to get it back over the net, and that instead falls right in the middle of the court. And the Jaguars, the Thundering Herd, get a point back. 16-13 is the score. Thundering Herd lead. Thundering Herd hit it back over. And that's going to be way out of bounds by the IUPUI. She tried to dig it out, and she could not get it, as that ball will land out of bounds, and it will be now 17-13 in favor of the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd with a serve again. Hits it back over, set up, and spiked over by the IUPUI Jaguars. They will get another point. A nice kill there from number 10, Elizabeth Scott, a senior. She leads the team in kills this season for the Jaguars, and she gets the team on the board here, 17-14 in favor of the Thundering Herd. Number 4, Ellie Gaskell with the serve for the IUPUI Jaguars, as they just going to be blocked after a nice spike attempt by the Jaguars, and it's going to be hit over the net by Marshall, and it's going to be a point for Marshall. 18-14 is your score here in the first set here. Marshall versus IUPUI. Marshall with the serve. It is Sarah Shank on the serve. She serves it over, dug out by the Jaguars. Set up and hit back over the net by the Jaguars. Dug out by the Thundering Herd. Hit back over the net by the Thundering Herd. Dug out by the Jaguars. Set up and spiked it back over the net. Hits the top of the net. Diving attempt by the Jaguars, but the judge will rule that one hit the ground on that diving attempt, and he rules the point for the Jaguars. 18-15 in favor of the Marshall Thundering Herd. Rachel Hickey, a freshman for the Jaguars, will serve it over. That ball goes over to the Thundering Herd. Dug out, set up, spiked, hit, blocked partially by the Jaguars. Now set up and hit back over the net. Dug out by the Thundering Herd, and that's going to be way long. Miscalculation of a set by the Thundering Herd. It looks like Dostal on the set there miscalculated it, and that will be a point for the Jaguars as they serve it back over. Dug out by the Thundering Herd. She hits it back over, and it's going to be another point to the Jaguars. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it's going to be a Marshall timeout as the Jaguars are beginning to gain a little momentum here. Since the timeout, they have definitely won this match since the timeout. 18-17 is the score here in favor of the Thundering Herd still in the first set. Have you been impressed, Ethan, by the way that IUPUI has come out of this one, come out of that timeout with a little bit more of a invigorated energy here?
Yes. So far, IUPUI has come out with a little bit more energy than they started the set out with. I think that's why they called that first time out, and so far it looked like it was a good idea. This match is also seeming like a lot like the two matches I called yesterday, the second and third one between Marshall and Nichols State, where Marshall got a little bit of a lead against Nichols State and just kept letting Nichols State be in there and then finally pulled away. And this seems like what's happening. Marshall got a lead, and now they're sort of letting IUPUI hang in there.
And that's a great assessment there by you, Ethan, as we get ready for we get ready to start this set back up. as it will be IUPUI serving. It is Rachel Hickey with the serve. She serves it over the net to the Thundering Herd. It's dug out, set up, and spiked over, no, tapped over the net. It's going to be a diving save by the Jaguars to hit back over the net. Dug out by the Thundering Herd. Spiked over the net and hit. A nice kill there from number 17, Sierra DeBell. And that gets the Marshall Thundering Herd on the board. And they come out of that timeout with a nice point and a nice kill from DeBell. 19-17 to score. Served over by the Thundering Herd. Dug out, set up, and served back over by the Jaguars. Hit back over to the Jaguars. Jaguars will try to just tap it back over the net, but instead hits the top of the net and bounces back. That's a point to the Marshall Thundering Herd. So first 2 points out of the timeout go to Marshall, and they have broken 20 here in the first set, 20-17, and they serve it back over the net. Set up, served by the Jaguars. Dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd, set up and spike back, and that's going to come right over, just short of just short of us here at the broadcasters table. That'll be a point out of bounds as the Jaguars were not able to dig that one out. Instead, it goes out of bounds, 21-17. So the Jaguars will now take their second timeout of this set. 21-17, as I said, is the score here in the first set. So not good there by IUPUI. Good from Marshall. How did you like Marshall coming out of their timeout, coming as much like IUPUI, they came out very invigorated and ready to play?
Yeah. So far they had a 1 point lead after that last timeout, and it seemed like three unanswered points by them. And seems like they're about to run away with this set a little bit. Unless IUPUI comes back after this timeout, their second and final timeout of this first set, a little bit more invigorated, and just like they did of that last set.
Yeah, and exactly. Great,
yeah.
great. Yeah, before the timeout, great assessment there by Ethan, and it is just a couple of stats here as they get ready to come on the court. It is Ivana Trevencha who has 3 kills in this game. That leads for the Marshall Thundering Herd, and the Marshall Thundering Herd leads 21-17, so she's doing her part. As I said, she leads in kills in this one. And Marshall Thundering Herd serves it over, dug out by the Jaguars, hit back over the net by the Jaguars. Set up by the Thundering Herd and hit back over. Set up. It's going to be hit back over to the Thundering Herd. She's going to dig it out, and it's going to be a nice play there by the Thundering Herd. That was Lauren Mattmuller with the kill. A nice, the Thundering Herd dug it out, and then she hit it back over instead of setting up, and that the Jaguars did not have any idea what to do as they hit one back over to the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd sets it up, spikes it over. It's going to be blocked partially by two Jaguars. Rebecca Schlechte and Haley Hoffman both get down to the block, but that ball will go out of bounds, and the score is now 23-17 in favor of the Thundering Herd. The Thundering Herd serve it over, dug out by the Jaguars, and served back over to the Thundering Herd. It's going to be tried to hit over, blocked by the Jaguars now, spiked and blocked again by the Jaguars, and it's going to be a point. It looked like a double hit was called on the Thundering Herd, and it's going to be a point to the Jaguars, so the Jaguars get a much-needed point back, 23-18. The Thundering Herd 2 points away from winning the first set here. As we're going to have a substitution for the Jaguars. 11, Haley Hoffman comes out, and in comes Michaela Wright, a junior, to serve for the Jaguars. Serves it over, dug out by the Thundering Herd. Serves it back over to the Jaguars. She digs it out and serves it back up to her teammate, and she's going to try and spike it, and she does get the kill. The Jaguars get the kill there, and the point, 23-19 is the score, as Jaguars have been able to rack up 2 straight points here. Thundering Herd still lead by 4 as they receive it, and that's going to be a nice kill there by number 17, Sierra DeBell, for the Thundering Herd. They get a point. Sorry.
This will now be match point for the Thundering Herd.
Yeah, match point here for the Thundering Herd, 24-19. Serve is going to come from Gabriel Coulter as she serves it over. It's going to be dug out and set up by the Jaguars. Jaguars hit it back over, dug out by the Thundering Herd, set up and spiked back over. It's going to be blocked partially by the Jaguars, but it will go out of bounds, and that will mean the first set goes to the Marshall Thundering Herd 25-19. What were your thoughts there on that first set there, Ethan, from both teams?
Well, so far it looked like it was going to be pretty even. We might even go down to maybe a 26-24 type of set, and then Marshall ended up pulling away late.
Yeah,
they seemed to have answers for about everything IUPUI had. IUPUI would go on a run, Marshall would go on another run to counter that.
Yeah, Marshall, Ivana Cherenchka, as I said, has 3 kills in this game. Gabrielle Coulter has 2, just behind her. The leader in kills for Marshall's actually Shelby Conley for IUPUI. Just a second as I get that pulled up. Looks like Maddie Dean is the leader in kills, a sophomore for the Jaguars. She leads in kills with 4. Just behind her is Shakana Norfleet, a freshman with 2 kills, and that is the leaders. Thank you. Rebecca Shilekti has 5 assists. She's the only one that has recorded an assist for the IUPUI Jaguars. The IUPUI Jaguars are going to be looking to recuperate here as we go into the second set. We're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, play-by-play will be done by my partner Ethan Price in this second set. Thanks for listening to this broadcast from the BGRSO Bowling Green Radio Sports Organization on Mixler. This is the Bowling Green Volleyball Invitational on Mixler. We'll be right back. One.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here at the Stroh Center in Bowling Green University, Bowling Green State University, sorry. So far, it has been all Marshall. That they won that first set 25-19, and I am here with my co-host,
Shane Nissen.
Shane?
Yeah, Shane. Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine. Just mad. It's all right. We're good. And we're getting ready here.
We're getting ready here, about to get underway with the second set of this last game of the BGSU Invitational here at the Stroh Center. Both teams are underway, and it looks like number 6 for Marshall, Gabrielle Coulter, is back to serve for the Thundering Herd. And we are underway with the second set, and it looks like it's going to be a service ace. It went right off one of the IUPUI players onto the floor.
That is Marshall's 3rd service ace of this game. They had 2 in the first set.
They served it right back over, Marshall did. Up and over and blocked by number 9 and number 1. Lauren Mattmuller and Ivana Trenchiva.
Yeah, great job there by the Jaguars, but they were not able to get it. Thundering Herd lead 2-0.
Up, over, and straight. IUPUI hit it back into the net. That'll be a 3-0 lead for the Marshall Thundering Herd right now. Lauren Matt Mueller back to serve for the Thundering Herd. It is hit up and over the net. Matt Mueller. And just blocked. Over. And here we go. IUPUI. Oh, just hit out of bounds by number 10 for the Thundering Herd, Shelby Conley. That is going to get us the first point of the game for the IUPUI Jaguars. It is now 3-1 in favor of the Marshall Thundering Herd. Back to serve for IUPUI is number 2, Rachel Hickey. It is hit over, just barely saved, but tapped over and blocked by number 17.
After a slow start there by the Jaguars, Marshall Thundering Herd, after a slow start by the Jaguars, they are able to get back on the board. 2 straight points here, 3-2 Marshall.
Looks like it's about to be served again by Rachel Hickey for the IUPUI Jaguars. We have a little bit of some sweat or some sort of spill on the ground over here that they are wiping up right now. So what have you thought about this second set so far?
Like I said, Jaguars got off to a slow start. A couple of good volleys here to start off. 3-2. Looked like Marshall might run away with this one early, but is right now the Jaguars have been able to bring it back.
There we go. And hit back over and over the net. Dug out and just barely hit over. And just missing it. Just diving a little bit too short of it is going to be number 9, Rihanna Schooneman for the IUPUI Jaguars. Back to serve is Marshall, and just getting it over, and seems like it is off number 10 for Marshall. That is going to be Elizabeth Scott.
Marshall tried to block that one there, went off the top of their fingertips, out of bounds to the left side. Point to the Jaguars.
Marshall is leading 4-3 here, and that is going to be a service ace as it just barely clipped the left corner over here.
That's Rihanna Schooneman's third service ace of this game.
And that'll be a service error on her now.
Yeah, and that'll be her second service error. She had one in the first. So, tale of two stories there, as one great hit there on the serve by her, and then right after that, a bad one.
And we're going to have another service error, back-to-back service errors, one by each team.
That one was committed by Lauren Matt-Mueller of the Marshall Thundering Herd, and that brings the score to 5-5 here in the second set of this match.
Back to serve for IUPUI now is going to be Gaskill for them. Up and hit over, blocked by a couple of players, but still hit and play for IUPUI. Up, set, and dug out. Just bumped, and then, let's see, hit over, and just barely missing the dig there is going to be number 2 for IUPUI.
Ivana Chavencha continues to really dominate this game. She has 4 kills for the Thundering Herd.
Back to serve for Marshall is going to be number 3, Autumn Ellswick, as they hit it over. And just barely tapped over onto IUPUI side again. Dug out, and oh, that is going to be a nice kill.
Shelby Conley with the kill there, number 10 for the Marshall Thundering Herd. That will be her 5th kill of this game, first of the set.
Oh, dug out, and oh, just nice save by Marshall. Oh, just barely hitting out of the reach of number 3 for the Thundering Herd, Autumn Ellswick. And we have a 7-6 game here in favor of the Marshall Thundering Herd. Maddie Dean checks into the game for IUPUI for Rachel Hickey. There we go. It is hit over, dug out, and bounced up. And let's see. Served. Let's see. No. Oh, just out of the reach of number 17 for Marshall, Sierra DeBell.
Sierra DeBell, she kind of stumbled there on the back line for the Marshall Thundering Herd and was not able to get her hand on that ball. And that will be now a tie here in the second set at 7.
Popped up there and serve, hit back over. And that'll be a point for Marshall as they hit it just where the Jaguars could not get to it. Looks like we have Shelby Conley checking out of the game and Sarah Skank checking into the game and serving for the Thundering Herd. And let's see. Oh, that'll be a point for IUPUI. Just hit a little bit, just a hair out of bounds. And back to serve for IUPUI will be number 11, Haley Hoffman, excuse me. Now we have another point for the Jaguars. 9-8 is our score in this second set in favor of the IUPUI Jaguars. Oh, and that'll be a nice kill by number 13, Issa Dastel for Marshall. It is served by the Thundering Herd. Oh, and that will try to be a kill by IUPUI. That just goes a tad too far, and it looks like we are going to have a replay review. That is something that we have new this year to the Stroh Center, is the ability for coaches to ask for a replay review. They have 3, no matter if they get them right or wrong. If they get the third one right, they do not get a fourth one.
That is a good insight there from you, Ethan. This set, very close, 10-9. Jaguars coming out strong here after kind of faltering after that last set, but the point is going to be reversed. So now it's 10-9 in favor of Marshall, and either way, Jaguars playing well in this set, staying with the Marshall Thundering Herd. They gotta keep going. We gotta finish.
Yes. So it looks like that challenge worked out there for the Marshall Thundering Herd. And now here we are back to play, served over by the Marshall Thundering Herd. It is just blocked, and that is going to be hit out of bounds by IUPUI. That'll give Marshall an 11-9 lead in this second set. Let's see, it is hit over, and it is blocked by number 17, Sierra DeBell, with the block and the point for the Marshall Thundering Herd. They lead 12-9 in this second set.
And it seems like that little replay review is proving to add, and the switcher point is proving to add a little momentum here for the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Yes, it has. And let's see. Hit over. Let's see. Hit over by Marshall. And now here we go, back over by IUPUI. Oh, and that will be a nice kill for the Marshall Thundering Herd, increasing their lead to 4. And we are going to have a timeout here by the IUPUI Jaguars to try to stop all of the momentum that the Marshall Thundering Herd have gotten since that replay review that got turned over in their favor.
I kind of said right before Marshall started going on this run after that replay review. Since the replay review, the Jaguars have not scored a single point. It's 13-9 in favor of Marshall. Kind of reminiscent of the first set of this game, where Jaguars kept it close through the middle of it, and now it's starting to get away from them. They have to reel one back here. Their coach has to reel them in here in this timeout, and they have to get them going in order to get back into the set. It's only a 4-point lead. It's not a daunting lead, a hugely daunting lead, but they need to get right back on track. They need to come out strong right here, coming out of this timeout if they want to get back into this game. Head coach Steve Payne, they're 3-10 this year. That's not where he wants to be. That's not how good he's been historically. 319 and 340 for him in his 22 season. This is his 21st season with the Jaguars. He's 319 and 340 in those 21 seasons, 180 and 117. So he has he's had a good tenure here. 3-10 is not where they want to be, and they need to try and get this flipped around now as they go forward into the farther into the season.
Back to serve from Marshall is going to be number 5, Amber Weber. Oh, it is going to be IUPUI is going to try to kill it, but it's going to be just hit right out of bounds. And that'll be another point for the Marshall Thundering Herd as they lead 15-9.
IUPUI gets a point there. Attempted a block there from Marshall. They were not able to get it. That ball went out of bounds from Marshall, and the score is now 14-10.
Oh, and that is going to be a nice kill by IUPUI. That will be 2 unanswered points by the Jaguars to decrease the lead of the Thundering Herd by 3. Here we go. It is served over and let's see, dug out, hit over and dug out by IUPUI, number 13. Oh, and it is blocked at the net. That is going to make it a 15-11 lead for Marshall. Looks like number 1 for Marshall, Ivana Trenchiva, is checking in for them. Ooh, looks like we're going to have a net violation, I think, on IUPUI, and that'll make the lead 5 points for the Thundering Herd. And now we're going to have a service ace for Marshall to swell that lead even bigger, make it 17-11.
And the Jaguars are not doing what I said during that timeout. They are not coming out strong. They are falling even farther behind than they were in this one.
They started out pretty well, and then so far everything is starting to slip away from them. They did get another point on a kill that was just out of bounds. So now the lead is 17-12, 5 points in favor of the Marshall Thundering Herd. It is served over by IUPUI, just tapped over by Marshall. Oh, and that'll be a kill for the Jaguars, making this 17-13. They are starting to come back a little bit after you said that they have run out of gas there, Sean. You said they were not listening to you. We'll see here. Oh, that'll be a point now for Marshall as they tried to kill the ball and it just went a little bit too far. 18-13 now here in that second set. Back to serve from Marshall is going to be number 17, Sierra DeBell. Ooh, we're going to have a net violation, it looks like. And that is going to make it 19-13 for the Thundering Herd.
And that's something you can't have if you're the Jaguars. You're trying to get back into this game. A net violation is the last thing you want in order to try and come back in this set.
Oh, that is going to be a kill that goes just wide. And that is going to be another point for Marshall. And they are the first team to enter the red zone. They are now leading 20-13. Back to serve for them again is going to be Sierra DeBell, number 17. Now hit out of bounds by the Thundering Herd, just wildly into the stands. Now it is going to be 20-14, still in favor of the Thundering Herd. Looks like Elizabeth Scott. No, never mind. Oh, that is nice play by IUPUI. Hit over. Oh, nice save by Sierra DeBell. It's going to be a nice kill just off the foot of number 6 for Marshall. Gabrielle Coulter, excuse me. That is going to make us our score of 20-15, still in favor of the Thundering Herd. It is hit up by Matt Mueller. Oh, and hit straight into the net by Shelby Conley from Marshall. So far, IUPUI is having somewhat of a run to decrease the lead to 4 points, and we're going to have a timeout taken by Marshall Thundering Herd to stop any sort of a momentum that IUPUI has been getting.
Yeah, the Jaguars are coming back a little bit in this one. They were down 20-13. They have since gotten 3 straight points in this set. It's now 20-16. Leaders for Marshall so far in this entire match are Sierra DeBell for the Thundering Herd has 8 kills. Shelby Conley has 4. Ivana Shervencha has 3 kills. Gabrielle Coulter with 2. And Lauren Mattmoller with 1, along with Issa Dostal has 1 kill as well. Assist leaders are Sierra DeBell as well for 13, so she is dominating this game. She also leads in digs. So right now, Sierra DeBell leads in kills, assists, or excuse me, she did not lead in assists, and that is my fault. Gabrielle Coulter leads in assists, 16, but DeBell does lead in digs. She leads in digs and kills. She has 8 kills, 5 assists. Gabrielle Coulter leads in assists with 16. Matt Miller falls behind her with 2. Conley with 1. The Marshall Thundering Herd playing very well in this one. A little momentum there by the Jaguars build up, but hopefully the Marshall Thundering Herd are going to be able to stop that.
It is now served back over by IUPUI. It is popped up by them and just tapped over and out of the reach of number 17 for Marshall, and it is going to be out of bounds anyway. So that is going to be another point for Marshall. 21-16 is our score in the second set. Back to serve for Marshall is going to be number 2. It is now hit over and barely tapped over by IUPUI. And, hit just out of bounds by Marshall. That'll give another point to the Jaguars. It is now 21-17. And we have a little bit of some sweat or something that keeps needing to get cleaned up over there.
Yeah, I think some of the Marshall players are complaining about a little bit of a wet spot there. It's inside the court. They want to get that fixed so it doesn't hurt their chances. 21-17 in the first set here. Marshall Thundering Herd lead.
It is just, it is blocked. Popped up into the air. Then, let's see. That is going to be a hit short of trying to go over the net by Marshall. That is going to give IUPUI their 18th point. And now it's going to be a 21-18 lead as IUPUI tries to claw their way back into winning this second set.
And they're on their way to doing it. They're clawing their way back. It was at one point 20-13 in this set. It is now 21-18. IUPUI is playing very well right now. They have a lot of momentum. They got to keep it going, though.
Yes. Momentum means nothing if they can't bring it all the way to the end for them. Popped over and oh, that is gonna be a a double hit on Marshall. That is going to make our score 21-19 as they try to come back. Looks like number 6 for IUPUI. Michaela Wright is going to serve it. She hits it over and popped up in the air and into the stands by IUPUI. That'll give Marshall their 22nd point, making it 22-19. Back to serve for the Thundering Herd is going to be number 3, Autumn Ellswick. Oh, and they hit it. That is going to be a service error on her. She hits it out of bounds on the other side, making it 22-20 as IUPUI tries to claw their way back into this. It is served up and over. And that is going to be a double hit on Marshall. Now the lead is reduced for Marshall to 1 point.
Marshall coach is not happy with the double hit call. I didn't see a double hit there either.
I did not see it either, but the ref might not always be correct, but he's never wrong. And that is hit. That is going to get us a tie. We are tied at 22 apiece. Marshall and IUPUI. IUPUI has clawed their way back into this one to tie it up at 22 apiece. And that is going to bring us to a timeout by the Thundering Herd as they try to halt any momentum that IUPUI had.
Thundering Herd obviously struggling mightily here at the end of the set. 22-22, as you said, it's the score right now. And the IUPUI Jaguars leading a fierce comeback in this one. The leader in kills for the Jaguars is Maggie Dean. Or no, it was Maddie Dean. Maddie Dean leads the Jaguars in kills, she leads with 4, followed by Elizabeth Scott with 3. Diggs is led by both Rebecca Schlechte and Elizabeth Scott. And assists, all 6 coming from Schlechte.
Looks like we're about underway as Elizabeth Scott is about to serve for IUPUI as they have clawed their way back into this second set. It is hit over and blocked by number 13 for IUPUI, and they have their first lead of this second set, leading 23-22. Back again to serve for them is going to be Elizabeth Scott. It is hit over and popped over, and that is going to be dug out by IUPUI, and hit over, dug out by Marshall, and blocked, and going to be right off of number 8 for IUPUI, Rebecca Schlechte, and that is going to tie us back up at 23 apiece. Back to serve for Marshall is going to be number 7, Sarah Stank. She's going to hit it over. Oh, it is blocked, and ooh, nice save, almost hit out of bounds, and hit out of bounds by IUPUI to give Marshall a 24-23 lead, and now we are going to have a timeout. The second and final timeout of this set for the IUPUI Jaguars.
Set point for the Marshall Thundering Herd. 24-23 is the score. Marshall obviously treading water heavily here in this second set. They led at one point, 20-13. Now only lead by 1 point, but they are going for a set point, and all of that choking and treading water can be erased with a point here, and that would be a win and a 2-0 lead in this match for the Thundering Herd. They're going to look to come out of this timeout. The Jaguars took a timeout because they were up 23-22. The Thundering Herd then responded with 2 points of their own, and Jaguars really want to make sure that they defend here and get a point to at least tie this one up at 24 and try and go on to win this set.
They really need to win this set too, because it will be one set apiece if the IUPUI Jaguars are going to somehow be able to complete this miraculous comeback. It is now match point for the Marshall Thundering Herd, and back to serve for them is going to be number 7, Sarah Skank. And we are back underway as she serves it over. It is dug out by IUPUI and hit over and just out of the reach of number 5 for Marshall. That is going to tie us at 24. And now we are going to have to play till 26. 26 points. As of right now, it is served over and hit over. Popped over by, and hit out of the reach of number 7 for Marshall. That is going to give the Jaguars another lead, and that'll give them match point.
Set point.
Set point, sorry. Set point. Excuse me. Set point. Oh! Just blocked off of one of their, just hit off of one of IUPUI's players, and that is going to tie us back up at 25 apiece.
25-25. IUPUI came out and did what they were supposed to do. They got to a match point, but now it is all tied up again at 25.
Oh, it is hit out of bounds, but saved by IUPUI.
Nice save there by IUPUI.
Oh, it is blocked! Blocked by IUPUI and just out of the reach of just about everybody for Marshall. That is going to make it 26-25 for the Jaguars. And again, match point for them in this miraculous comeback. Back to serve for them is going to, they serve it over, put it over. Oh, and blocked! Out of bounds! And IUPUI Jaguars come back to take this second set. 27-25 is going to be our final score of this second set. And now it is tied up at 1 set apiece. Heading into that third and final set. Well, we are going to take a little bit of a break, and we will be right back at the Stroh Center with the third set of this final game between Marshall and the IUPUI Jaguars. Thank you.
Back to Bowling Green, Ohio at the Bowling Green Volleyball Invitational Tournament here at the Stroh Center. It's IUPUI versus Marshall. The sets are tied at 1-1. A nice comeback from IUPUI in that second set. They won 27-25, and we're getting ready to start up the third set of this one, as both teams look to get a leg up going into that fourth set. And it looks like IUPUI is going to have to serve, I think, maybe.
It's going to be, let's see.
Taking a while to get ready here. Coach is still on the court for Marshall. They have to be disappointed with their performance in that last set, particularly at the end of it. They lost it, but it will be IUPUI who's going to get to serve. Number 8, Rebecca Schlechte will serve. She serves it over. Dug out. Set up. And served back over to net by Marshall. Dug out by IUPUI. IUPUI sets it up. Serves it back over to and it is dug out by Marshall. Marshall sets it up. Strikes it back on. Dug out again by IUPUI. And that one's going to be hit over into the top of the net. And that'll be a point for the Marshall Thundering Herd. It was Rebecca Schlechte, the one who served. She's the one who hit it into the net for the Jaguars, and it will be 1-0 Marshall, their serve. Marshall serves it over. Dug out by the Jaguars. Served up and spiked over. Cross court to the other side. Dug out by the Thundering Herd. She spikes it up over the net to the Jaguars. It's going to be dug out and spiked back over to the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd set it up. Spike. And a little bit of tap, and it's going to be blocked. Tap back over, and the Thundering Herd still have it. Sends it back over to the Jaguars. That's going to be dug out and set up and spiked inbounds right at the back of the court. And that is a 1-1 tie here to begin the third set. Those were two very nice volleys. A substitution here, number 13, Maddie Dean coming out for the Jaguars. Serving for the Jaguars is going to be Rachel Hickey. Hickey serves it over, dug out by DeBall for Thundering Herd. She serves it back over to the Jaguars. Jaguars set it up, spike it back over, tapped over. It's not going to be able to be gotten by the Thundering Herd. It was number 6, Gabrielle Coulter, who tried to get to that ball for the Thundering Herd, and she could not. It falls, and it's a point for the Jaguars, 2-1 in favor of them. Hickey back to serve again for the Jaguars. She serves it over, dug out by DeBall. DeBall sets it over to a spike over, dug out by the Jaguars, and the Jaguars will serve it back over, hit the top of the net, and that's going to be a 4th hit from the Jaguars, and a point to the Thundering Herd. 2-2 here in the third set, and back to serve for the Thundering Herd is Lauren Mamarilla. She sends it over, and it's going to graze the top of the net and fall down for a service ace in favor of the Marshall Thundering Herd. And it's going to be 3-2. Matt Muller will serve again. Matt Muller bouncing the ball. Looks over to the sideline. And we're having a little bit of a wipage over on the side of the Jaguars. And we're ready to resume play as the ref gives the go-ahead, and Matt Muller will serve. Matt Muller serves, dug out by the Jaguars. Set up and spiked back over. Blocked by the Marshall Thundering Herd, and it's going to be sent back over to the Jaguars. Jaguars block, or the Marshall Thundering Herd block it. It's going to be back over to the Thundering Herd, blocked up and spiked over, blocked by the Thundering Herd, and it's going to be a point to the Jaguars. I thought maybe the Jaguars got a hand on that one as that one went way out of bounds, but no, says the referee. It will be a 3-3 tie as the Jaguars get the point, and now the serve. Schooneman for the Jaguars will serve it over, dug out by the Thundering Herd, set up by the Thundering Herd, and spiked right into the middle of the net by the Thundering Herd. That's a point to the Jaguars. Number 16 for Marshall was the one who's trying to serve it over, and she could not get it over, as now The Jaguars serve it over. Dug out by the Thundering Herd, set up and spiked over the net. Dug out by the Jaguars, blocked by the Marshall Thundering Herd. Dug out by the Jaguars again, set up and hit over the net, cross court to the Thundering Herd. Dug out, hit back over, and it's going to be inbounds by the Marshall Thundering Herd. A nice, just taps it over into the back left corner of the Jaguars court, and that is a 4-4 tie. So each team matching blow for blow here to begin the game. Served over by the Marshall Thundering Herd, hits the top of the net, dug out by the Thundering Herd, and it's going to be a double hit there by the Jaguars. And it's going to be a point for the Marshall Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd serve it over, dug out by the Jaguars. Jaguars set it up, serve it back over, dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd, set up and set over, blocked by the Jaguars, but kept it on their side. It's going to be hit over to the Marshall Thundering Herd side and back over to the Jaguar side, set and spiked over onto the Thundering Herd, set by the Thundering Herd. They will hit it back over, dug out by the Jaguars. Jaguars set it up, spike, and it's good! A nice volley there from both teams, and the Jaguars will get the better of it. 5-5, the Jaguars lead. Jaguars serve. It's number 6, Michaela Wright on the serve for the Jaguars. She will hit it over to the Thundering Herd, dug out, set up, spiked over, and blocked by the Jaguars. Diving for it is Michaela Wright of the Jaguars. She cannot get it. They block it onto their own side, and it's a point for the Marshall Thundering Herd. 6-5 in the third set. Thundering Herd will serve. She serves it over to dugout, and it's going to be a misplayed by the Jaguars. The ball's going to come over to us, go right over my co-host's head, and it is a point to the Marshall Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd serving. Sarah Shank with the serve. She serves it over. Dug out by the Jaguars. Set up and spiked over the net and blocked. But it's going to stay on the Marshall Thundering Herd side, and that is now a 7-6 score in favor of the Thundering Herd. Third set here. 1-1 is the score. Each taking one set in the first two sets, as the Jaguars will serve it over. It's dug out, miss hit, and it's going to be misplayed there by number 6 for the Marshall Thundering Herd, Gabriel Coulter. And that's a point for the Jaguars. 7-7 is the score. Jaguars will serve. Ball served over. Dug out by the Thundering Herd. Set up and spiked. Blocked by the Thundering Herd, by the Jaguars, but that ball is going to be hit back over to the Thundering Herd. And she's going to set it up, spike it up, and it's going to be not blocked, but it's going to be a kill for not Gabriel Coulter. It's going to be a kill for Sierra DeBell, that will be her 12th kill of this game as the Marshall Thundering Herd serve it over. It's going to be dug out and hit back over to the Thundering Herd. Set up by the Thundering Herd, blocked by the Jaguars, and that ball lands on the Marshall side. 8-8 is the score. Tie game here in the third set.
Checking in for IUPUI is going to be number 4, Ellie Gaskill, for number 11, Haley Hoffman.
And Ellie Gaskill will be serving for the Jaguars. She serves it over, and that ball is dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd. They serve it back over, and it's going to be blocked partially by the Jaguars, but a diving try from number 4, Ellie Gaskill, will not be enough, as that ball will land right in the middle of the Jaguars' court for a Marshall point. 9-8 is the score. Gabrielle Coulter with the serve. She serves it over. Ball's hit up by the Jaguars. Now set over to the Thundering Herd. Set by the Thundering Herd. Spike back over to the Jaguars. Blocked by the Jaguars, and blocked again by the Jaguars as the Jaguars blocked it, hit it back over. The Marshall Thundering Herd intended to send it back over to the Jaguars again, and the Jaguars blocked it again, and that time it will fall. 9-9 is the score. Jaguars and Thundering Herd are tied. And that's going to be a service ace there from the Jaguars, or service error from the Jaguars. Score is 10-9 in favor of Marshall. So both teams really just going blow for blow here. not much separation being gotten by either team as Marshall thundering her with the serve. She serves it up. Set up, blocked by the Thundering Herd, and set back over to the Thundering Herd. The Thundering Herd will regroup and set it back over to the Jaguars. Jaguars now set it back over, taps it over, diving try by the Thundering Herd, and now set up and spiked and blocked out of bounds from the Jaguars, and it's a point to the Marshall Thundering Herd. 11-9 is the score in the third set.
Back to serve from Marshall is going to be number 17.
Sierra
DeBell.
She serves it over, set up by the Jaguars. Jaguars spread it over, but it's going to be out of bounds. And that's another Marshall Thundering Herd point. So now a 3-point lead for Marshall. They're getting to get a little bit of separation here. Thundering Herd, serve it over. Dug out by the Jaguars. Set and spiked back over by the Jaguars onto the Thundering Herd side. In play. That's a point for the Jaguars. 12-10 here in the third set. Serving for the Jaguars here. 12-10 to score. It's going to be Rachel Hickey. Hickey has served a majority of this game, but neither a service ace nor a service error on her part, as Marshall is getting something wiped up over on their side. And we are currently waiting for that process to be over with. 12-10 is the score, and we are giving the okay to start. Hickey serves it over. Set up by the Thundering Herd. Set and tapped over. Diving try from the Jaguars. Two of them both get their hands on it. That ball flies over into the opposite stands. And that is a Thundering Herd point. 13-10 is the score. Number 9 for Marshall, Lauren Mattmuller, will have the serve.
We are having another spill cleaned up here, but this time it's on the IUPUI side of the court.
Both teams complaining that they are a little bit sliding here on this court as we're given the okay, and Marshall serves it over. Dug out, set up, and tapped over the net, just over the net for a a Jaguar point. 13-11, a nice kill there from Michaela Wright. That's her second kill of this game. As the serve will go to the Jaguars. Jaguars serve it over. Dug out by DeBall from the Marshall. Marshall spikes it back over. Dug out by the Jaguars. Set it back over to the Marshall Thundering Herd. And now set back over out of bounds. Way out of bounds there from Marshall. And that is a point to the Thundering Herd. 14-11 is the score. Marshall leads here in the third set. So Marshall kind of taking command here of this game. Only a 3-point lead though, and we saw as we saw in the last set, IUPUI is definitely able to take over. We're going to have, I believe, a replay here. And what are your thoughts been so far on this game?
So far, it has been a little bit like that first game, where it is being very competitive, but Marshall is starting to pull away in the middle of this third set. It is now 14-11.
And they're still replaying to see whose point that will be. It's either going to be 14-11 in favor of Marshall or 13-12. Still in favor of Marshall, but only 1 point away instead of 3. So if you think about it, that's actually pretty important for the Jaguars if they're trying to come back here a little bit. And I think we're going to have a decision.
It's going to be overturned and given to the IUPUI Jaguars.
IUPUI, yes, gets the point. It is 13-12 now. Marshall still leads here in the third set. And Jaguars will serve this one over. Rihanna Schuneman with the serve for the Jaguars. for the okay. As things are still getting squared away at the scorer's table. And we're giving a go-ahead as she will serve it over. Dug out by the ball. Coulter sets it up, spiked over, and a little more like tapped over, served up, and spiked over by the Jaguars. The Thundering Herd take it out. They will send it back right into the net, and that's a tie game now here, folks. 13-13 here in the third set, as the Thundering Herd are not able to get that ball back over the net, and the Jaguars will serve again. Jaguars serve it over. Dug out by the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd spike it over, blocked by the Jaguars, and it's going to be a point to the Jaguars. 14-13 here in the third set. The Jaguars continue to, come back again from a little bit of a lead there by the Marshall Thundering Herd as the Jaguars set it over, and it's going to be blocked again, but it's going to be out of bounds, blocked by the Jaguars. Jaguars served it over, it was dug out, and per usual, set up, spiked over, and blocked, but it was going to be out of bounds by the Jaguars. 14-14 is your score once again here in the third set. Marshall Thundering Herd serving it over. Ball is dug out by the Jaguars. Set up and spiked over. Dug out again by the Jaguars. Set up and spiked over by the Thundering Herd. Dug out by the Jaguars. Set up, spiked, hit over, and another dig by the Thundering Herd, and this is a good volley, and it should be spiked, and a nice kill there from the Thundering Herd as they are able to take the lead once again here. 15-14 is the score. Ball spiked over, picked up and dug out by the Jaguars. Jaguars send it back over. Thundering Herd spike it over, and it's going to be dug out by the Jaguars. Jaguars set it up and spike it, and it's going to be blocked, but partially, and the Thundering Herd are able to get it. It's going to be blocked again. Picked up by the Jaguars. Set up, spike, and no block, but a nice dig there from the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd set it back over to the net, and it's going to be set up, and it's going to be a spike here, tapped over the net, dug by the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd tap it over, and it's going to be dug again. Set up, and hit back over the net to the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd dig it out, sight it up, spike it, and it's going to be hit the top of the net and fall inbounds. So a little bit of a skimmer off the top of the net, and a nice volley there from both teams. 16-14 is the score. Thundering Herd lead. They will serve again, and here we go again. They serve again. Set up, spike, and spiked by the Jaguars. A nice dig, and sent back over by the Thundering Herd. Jaguars with the ball again, and spiked over by the Jaguars. Jaguars were not able to corral a nice kill and spike from number 17, Sierra DeBell from the Thundering Herd, and it's going to be a timeout in favor of the Jaguars. 17-14 is your score. What are you thinking here, Ethan, as we are getting towards the latter of this third set?
So far, again, it is looking like IUPUI will scratch their way and claw their way back into it, and then Marshall will just pull away once again.
As we learned from the last set, no lead is to be taken lightly. A 7-point lead in the last set was not enough for Marshall to contain the lead and keep it going. They lost that set. It's 17-14. Same thing. Jaguars need to come back in this one. They need to start now here. They don't want to get this one up in the 20s, the 6-point lead, although they proved last time they can't come back from it. But in any situation, you want to be coming into this one, coming out of this timeout, ready, motivated, and ready to get back some of these points. A 3-point lead here in the third set for Marshall.
And also, each team really wants to win this set because that will mean that whoever wins this set, if they win that next set, that'll be game.
Yep. Obviously, they want to win the set as Marshall serves it over. It's going to be dug out by the Jaguars, blocked by the Marshall Thundering Herd, but it's going to fall down on their side, 17-15. So the Jaguars come out of this timeout with what they needed, and Michaela Wright will be serving now for the Jaguars. Jaguars serve it over, dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd. Set up and spike over to the opposite side, out of bounds there though from the Thundering Herd. And the first 2 points out of the timeout go to the Jaguars. 17-16 in favor of Marshall Thundering Herd still, as Michaela Wright will serve it once again. Michaela Wright serves it over. Dug out by Marshall Thundering Herd. Set up, and oh, what a nice play there by Gabrielle Coulter, as a nice dig from the Marshall Thundering Herd, and it was Sierra DeBell with the dig, and she gets it up to Gabrielle Coulter, and she just spikes it back over with the kill, and it'll now be a serve from Marshall Thundering Herd, dug out by the Jaguars, set up, and it's going to be out of bounds there from the, a double hit, I believe. Double hit from the Jaguars. 19-16 is the score. The Jaguars come out of the timeout good, now starting to lose lead again. 19-16 in favor of the Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd served over, dug out by the Jaguars. Set up by the Jaguars, spiked, blocked by the Thundering Herd, but now picked up by the Jaguars and hit back over. It's going to be diving out of bounds, and they're going to get it. Marshall Thundering Herd sets it back over to the Jaguars. Splat back over by the Jaguars, and that's going to be a point for the Jaguars. A diving try from the Marshall Thundering Herd was not enough to warrant a save, and it's a point to the Jaguars. 19-17 is your score here in the third set. Marshall leads. Elizabeth Scott serving for IUPUI. IUPUI serves it over, dug out by Marshall Thundering Herd. Hit back over to IUPUI, dug out, set up, served, and dug out again by the Thundering Herd. It's going to be spiked over, hit by Elizabeth Scott, but it will go out of bounds for a Marshall point. 20-17 is the score. Marshall serves it over, dug out by the Jaguars. It's going to be hit over, blocked by the Jaguars, and it's going to be a point for the Jaguars, 20-18. Marshall Thundering Herd still leading by 2. They haven't really let the Jaguars come so close as to notch this one back up tied. But IUPUI still giving Marshall trouble. Marshall not able to pull away as IUPUI serves it over. Dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd. Thundering Herd set it up, spiked over, blocked, but dug out by the Jaguars, and it's going to be tapped over. Dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd, spiked over, and it's going to be a kill from Sierra DeBell there for the Marshall Thundering Herd. 21-18, Marshall leading. Marshall 5 points away from taking this set. Jaguars are 8. Either team can still win this set, but it's looking good for the Marshall. And as I say that, Gabrielle Coulter serves one right into the center of the net for the Marshall Thundering Herd. A service error and a point to the Jaguars. 21-19 is the score. Number 8 for IUPUI, Rebecca Schulte is serving. She serves it over, dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd, served out by Coulter, and spiked by DeBell. DeBell will get the kill as no IUPUI player was able to come up with it. 22-19 here in the third set. Marshall leading. They continue to lead this game. They have for pretty much this whole game, for this whole set. And as a result of that, it's going to be a timeout for the Jaguars. Jaguars are trailing 22-19. What do you think the reason for that is here, Ethan?
Well, so far it looks like every time that IUPUI tries to claw and stretch the way back, Marshall has an answer. Yesterday, Marshall did the same thing against Nichols State in the second and third sets. Nichols State would try to come back, and then Marshall would always have an answer, and that is what it is looking like is the case here in this third set.
Yeah, they didn't have an answer for IUPUI in that second set as IUPUI came back, but Marshall looked to me a little bit more composed, and that may come back to bite me if IUPUI does end up winning this set. But it looks like to me Marshall's a little bit more composed than IUPUI in this set. I think they're going to be able to pull this one out, but we'll see as we get ready to start the second set, or the come out of the timeout in the third set. 22-19, 3 points away is Marshall from taking this set as Marshall's going to serve it over. It's going to be Sierra DeBell for the Marshall Thundering Herd. DeBell serves it over. Dug out by Michaela Wright for the Jaguars. It's going to be set up by the Jaguars and out of bounds. I believe the Jaguars were out of bounds once she hit the ball, so that will be a point to the Marshall Thundering Herd. 23-19, served over by the Jaguars, or by the Thundering Herd. As the Marshall has it now, serves over to the Jaguars, diving play, and it's going to be hit back over and over into the back of the court for the Jaguars. Set point for the Marshall Thundering Herd. 24-19 is the score. Served over by the Marshall Thundering Herd, set up by the Jaguars, dug out by the Marshall Thundering Herd, served and set back over as Marshall Thundering Herd now will set it up, spike it back over. It's going to be dug out, set up, served over to, it's going to be out of bounds, but they're going to be keeping it in, and they're going to just loll it back over to the Marshall Thundering Herd side. Set, spike, nice block, and dig, sets back over to the Marshall Thundering Herd. The nice dig by the Marshall Thundering Herd. It's going to be spiked out of bounds by the Marshall Thundering Herd, and the Jaguars will get to the 20 mark. 24-20 is the score here, and we're going to have, oh no, excuse me, it was blocked. I was totally wrong.
Yes.
I thought that was a Jaguar point. It was a Marshall point. I believe Jaguars blocked it. The Jaguars blocked that one. It went out of bounds, and therefore it is Marshall's point. They take the set 25-19. Same exact score as the first set the Marshall won. What did you see there from both teams?
Well, it looked like it was about to start getting more competitive, especially if it was 20 to 24.
This is the BGRSO here in Bowling Green, Ohio. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ethan Price, and I am back with my co-host Shane, and we are about to start this fourth set in the final game of the BGSU Volleyball Invitational. And it is between Marshall Thundering Herd and the IUPUI Jaguars. Marshall Thundering Herd lead in the sets 2-1. Therefore, if they win this set, they will come away victorious in walk away from this invitational 2-1. And that is going to be a service error by number 6 for Marshall, Gabrielle Holter, as she hits it straight into the net. As IUPUI starts off leading 1-0 in this fourth set. Back to serve for IUPUI is number 2, Rachel Hickey. It is popped up. It is just sent over, dug out by IUPUI. Dug out by Marshall this time. Another dig by IUPUI. Hit over, blocked, and the hit out of bounds by Marshall. That is going to make it 2-0 IUPUI in this fourth set. It is served again by IUPUI. It is hit over and blocked by IUPUI. It is sent over, dug out by IUPUI, out of bounds a little bit. And it is blocked by Marshall, and they are finally on the scoreboard as IUPUI leads 2-1. Back to serve for Marshall is going to be number 17, Sierra DeBell. She hits it over. That is going to be barely hit over. And popped up into the air by Marshall. That's going to be dug out by Marshall now. Hit over and dug up by IUPUI. Dug now by Marshall. Hit over and another dig by IUPUI. Served over. Another dig by Marshall. Hit over. Dig by IUPUI. We have a nice volley going on here. Dug out by Marshall. Sent over and just in bounds. And that will tie us here at 2 apiece in this fourth set. Back to serve again for Marshall is going to be Sierra DeBell, number 17 for them. She gets ready and serves it over. Dug out by IUPUI. Hit over and blocked by Marshall. That is going to make it 3-2, and that is going to be a 3-point comeback. 3-0 run by Marshall, and that will make our score 3-2 in favor of the Marshall Thundering Herd. Sierra DeBell serves it. Dug out by IUPUI. Hit over and hit out of bounds by IUPUI. 4-2 now, and a 4-0 run by the Thundering Herd. Sierra DeBell back to serve again for them. And she serves it over. It is dug out by IUPUI. Hit over and killed! That is going to be a kill by the Jaguars. It's halting this 4-0 run of the Thundering Herd, making our score now 4-3. It is dug out by Marshall. Hit over and killed by Marshall. It is going to bring our score to 5-3.
Marshall taking the early lead here in this one. It's 5-3, and they are serving here as they're looking to take this one.
Number 9 is serving for them. That is going to be Lauren Matt-Mueller. It is hit up, dug out by Marshall. Hit over, dug out by IUPUI. Hit over, dug out again by Marshall. Spiked over, bump, and we're going to have another, that's going to be just barely saved by IUPUI. Hit back in, and spike! And a kill just out of bounds. That was quite a bit out of bounds, and that is going to be a point for IUPUI to bring our score to 5-4 in favor of Marshall, the Thundering Herd. Back to serve for IUPUI is going to be number 6, Michaela Wright. And we're going to have another point for IUPUI. And we are going to be tied up at 5 apiece. And now back to serve for them is going to be number 6 again, Michaela Wright. And she hits it. They pop it up in the air. Marshall does. Serve it over. And hit just barely in bounds. Marshall just taps it and tries to get the kill, but they hit it out of bounds, and now it is going to be 6-5 is our score in favor of IUPUI. Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. Just tapped over by number 1 for Marshall. It is going to be popped over. Oh, nice block by IUPUI. Oh, that is going to be a kill. IUPUI hit it just out of the reach of number 10 for Marshall. That is going to be Shelby Conley. And that is going to bring our score to 7-5. And we now have another wet spot there cleaning up at this moment. So what have you seen so far in this 4th set? What do you think so far, Shane?
It's kind of a back and forth. Marshall took the lead early. Jaguars now seizing a little bit of momentum, and they're going to look to continue that as we go through this set.
It is served again by IUPUI and sent over, dug out by IUPUI. Sent over again. This time dug out by IUPUI again. Sent over and dug out. And another dig by IUPUI, just hit barely in bounds. And that is going to be a kill off of the hands of number 17, Sierra DeBell. And that is going to give us another point for the IUPUI Jaguars. 8-5 is the score in this 4th set. And we have another wet spill. Another wet spot, I believe from Sweat and Hard Work. And it is now cleaned up. We have had quite a few wet spots that have popped up. Back to serve for IUPUI is going to be number 6, Michaela Wright. It is going to be blocked! Blocked by number 11 for IUPUI. That'll be Haley Hoffman, making it 9-5, and we have a timeout called by the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Yeah, that was a great block by Hoffman. Hoffman has really not gotten much action in this game. Hasn't really done much in this game, but she's doing something here for the Jaguars. It's 9-5 here in the 4th set. Obviously, Marshall leads 2-1, and the Jaguars really seizing control of this set to start the game, or start the set. I mean, if they can keep this going, they're going to be good. But as I said, in the last set, I really felt like throughout the 3rd set, Marshall was the more composed team. And I think that going into this set, being down by 4, which is something they really haven't been this whole game. They haven't really been this whole match. They really haven't been down at all. I mean, it was a huge comeback in the 2nd set for IUPUI. This is the first time that Marshall's really having any adversity. I think they're ready for it. We'll see here in the coming moments whether they are or not. But they need to start getting ready, start getting back into this one. It's 9-5, only a 4-point lead, but hopefully we'll see a good set here going forward.
Now back to serve for IUPUI again is going to be number 6, Michaela Wright, and she serves it over the net. Hit by Sierra DeBell, popped over and blocked by IUPUI. Hit over, and that is going to be hit out of bounds by Marshall. That is going to bring us to the score of 10-5 in favor of IUPUI. And they are the first team to reach double digits, doubling off Marshall's score. Dug out by Marshall and hit out of bounds by Marshall, making the score 11-5 as the Jaguars continue to the Jaguars have some confidence and swagger about them in this 4th set. as they try to even it up at 2 sets apiece and force a 5th and final set, and it is hit out of bounds. It is hit just barely in bounds, making the score 11-6 now, as we have several substitutions going on. 11-6 is our score now in favor of the Jaguars. Served over by Marshall. Hit over and, oh, popped out of bounds and just barely saved as one of the Marshall players almost went over the press row table over here that we are at. It is popped up, dug out by Sierra DeBell. Hit over. That is going to be a kill for number 11, Haley Hoffman. Once again, this will bring us to a score of 12-6. Jaguars again doubling the score of the Marshall Thundering Herd. Looks like we're having number 13 for the Thundering Herd check in. Isa Dostal check out for number 8, which is going to be Mayon Weldon. Back to serve for IUPUI is going to be number 10, Elizabeth Scott. Oh, that is going to be blocked by 2 players for IUPUI. Popped up and spiked. Just dug out. Hit over. Blocked again by IUPUI. Dug out. Spiked again. Dug out by IUPUI. Hit again by them. Over the net. Spiked and dug. Spiked again by IUPUI. Dig by Marshall. Spiked and off of number 9 for IUPUI, which is going to be Rihanna Shemin. And that is going to bring us to the score of 12-7 in this 4th match. Back to serve for Marshall Thundering Herd is going to be Sarah Shank. Sorry. She serves it, hits it over, dug out by IUPUI, and that is going to be right off of number 7. Again, Sarah Shank. And that is going to bring us to the score of 13-7 in this 4th set. We have, I do not know what's going on, but we had some sort of issue at the score's favor. We are good to go now. It is served by IUPUI, blocked and hit over, and just out of the reach of number 7 again. IUPUI is leading 14-7 as they just continue to tear apart Marshall in this 4th set. Back to serve for IUPUI is going to be number 4, Ellie Gaskell. Popped up. Spiked! Is that going to be a double hit maybe of some sort? It is, no matter the fact, it is going to be a point for Marshall, making the score 14-8. It is served over by Marshall. Hit over by IUPUI. Over the net. Dug out by Marshall again. Spiked over. And that is going to be a kill for Marshall as they try to climb and claw their way back. It is 14-9 is our score in favor of the Jaguars. And Marshall is facing some adversity that they really haven't faced at all. And wow, they just blocked it over, and it is going to be 14-10 as Marshall tries to claw their way back to try to make sure there's not a 5th set and win this 4th set and go home victorious. Served over, bumped, and let's see, spike, and dug out by IUPUI. That's going to be dug out, and a spike, and a kill by Marshall. 14-11. Marshall is coming back. What do you think of this comeback?
It's very reminiscent of what IUPUI did in the 2nd set. IUPUI needs to keep their composure. It really looks like Marshall's starting to gain momentum. They're keeping their heads high, and that's what you want to see, especially as the Marshall coach. When your team gets down in a set, as long as they're keeping their heads high, giving it their all, putting their hearts on the line, that's what you want to see, and that's what the Marshall Thundering Herd are doing. And it's working. It's 14-11, and they're coming back.
Oh, that is going to be a nice kill by IUPUI. Making it 15-11 now as our score. Let's see. Back to serve for IUPUI is going to be number 8, Rebecca Schlechte. She hits it over. Hit up by Sierra DeBell. Dug out, and that is going to be almost a kill by her. Sit over, and that is going to be hit off of one of the Marshall players out of bounds, bringing our score to 16-11. Right now it's looking like Marshall, who seemingly had all the answers, have no answers for what IUPUI is bringing up right now. Marshall seemingly had almost control in the first and third set, but now this is all IUPUI right now. It is hit over and gonna be a kill for Marshall, bringing our score to 16-12 as they continue to claw back. We have several substitutions going on. Number 1, Ivana Trencheva, and number 2, that is gonna be Jaden Jacobs, check back into the game for Marshall. Jaden Jacobs serves it over, dug out by IUPUI. That is going to be hit out of bounds. A kill just going a little too far, bringing our score to 16-13 in favor of the Jaguars as Marshall tries to climb back. Dug out by IUPUI, hit over, popped up, dug out by Marshall, sent over, dug out again, and that is going to be another point for the Thundering Herd. Bringing our score 16-14, and we're going to have a timeout by the Jaguars. Timeout by them as they try to hold control and try to win this fourth match in, fourth set and force a fifth and a final set in this final game of the BGSU Invitational. So what have you been seeing so far, and what have you thought about this one?
It's turned out to be a great set. Marshall's storming back or thundering back in this one. It's really it's pretty cool to watch both of these teams compete against each other. You can tell both of these teams have a lot of passion for the sport of volleyball, and that's really shown from both sides. And both sides have had great comebacks. This one, 14-7 was the score at one point in this set. The IUPUI Jaguars led, and now it's only 16-14 in favor of the Jaguars. So the Thundering Herd are storming back in this one. They want to get ready. They're getting ready to play, and they definitely had the Jaguars back into a wall. Obviously, the Jaguars cannot lose this set. They're down one set. They're down 2-1 in this game. They don't want to lose this set. Obviously, that's the end of the game. But they much like the Marshall had to do for basically all 3 sets to start the game. They have to keep their composure.
Jen Jacobs serves it for Marshall. It is dug out by number 10 for IUPUI. Set over, dug out by Marshall, and sent over. And that is going to be straight to the net for a point for IUPUI. Bringing our score to 17-14, and we have some more substitutions going on. Into the game for Jaden Jacobs is going to be number 6 for Marshall. And that is going to be Gabrielle Coulter. Back to serve for IUPUI is going to be number 2, Rachel Hickey. She serves it over. Is dug out by Marshall, and that is going to be a kill! A nice kill by Marshall. 17-15 now is our score. Number 10 checks into the game for Marshall, and that is Shelby Conley. She checks in for number 7, Sarah Shank. It is served over, just dug out by Marshall. Hit over, blocked by IUPUI, and that'll make the score 18-15 as the Jaguars try to defend and try to just try to block any comeback Marshall has in them. It is served by IUPUI, hit over, dug out, and blocked by IUPUI, and that is going to be blocked out of bounds, unfortunately for IUPUI, giving the point to Marshall, making the score 18-16 in this set. Back to serve for Marshall is going to be number 9, Lauren Mueller. Hit over and spiked and blocked by no. Yes, it is blocked by number 10 for Marshall, but she blocked it out of bounds. The Jaguars are now leading 19-16 over the Thundering Herd. Here we go. IUPUI is set to serve again. It is dug out by Marshall. Hit over, dug out by IUPUI. Dug out by Marshall now. Hit over, blocked, and it is going to be a point for Marshall. 19-17 is our score. Number 3 for Marshall. Adam Ellswick checks in for Ivana Trencheva. Adam Ellswick is back to serve for Marshall. And she serves it. Dug out by IUPUI. Sent over and blocked by Marshall. Sent over, dug out by Marshall. Is now hit up and going to be hit out of bounds. A kill as Marshall is trying to complete the comeback. The score is now 19-18 in favor of the Jaguars. Back to serve again is going to be Autumn Ellswick. She serves it. It's over. It's dug out, and that is going to be a point for IUPUI as Marshall just hit it and it went straight to the ground on their own side. 20-18 is our score. Marshall is trying to complete their comeback and make sure that they go home victorious after this 4th set as they are leading 2-1 in sets. It is hit up and spiked by Marshall. Spiked by IUPUI, blocked by Marshall. That is going to be dug out by Marshall. Spiked again by IUPUI. Hit over and let's see. Spiked by Marshall, dug out by IUPUI. Spiked by IUPUI and blocked onto her own side. That is going to be blocked onto their own side for Marshall. And that is going to be a point for the Jaguars as their lead is going to be 3 points, 21-18. As Marshall I believe, calls their second and final timeout of the set. Yes, they do. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Marshall was doing great. They came back. It was 19-18, and then IUPUI pulled it back a little bit. And that's exactly, if you are the head coach for IUPUI, that is exactly what you are looking for. And they've responded great to this comeback from Marshall. Obviously, they're treading water, but they're not letting Marshall get over the hump. Marshall's getting close, but they haven't been able to get over the hump, tie IUPUI, and I feel like tying them is going to give IUPUI a lot of momentum. And tying IUPUI will give Marshall a lot of momentum, and that can spur them on to victory. So and IUPUI is doing a great job of dispelling that, and they're keeping their composure. They're doing a great job.
So if you're Marshall, what are you saying in that? If you're Marshall's head coach, what are you saying in this timeout?
I think you got to be saying there's a lot of good things. We're playing hard. Obviously, there's more strategic parts of the game, but just the general memo, if we're playing hard, we're doing great. We just got to get over the hump. We just got to fight hard. We got to get over the hump, and hopefully, and that'll get us the victory. I mean, that's what you have to say.
It is served by Elizabeth Scott. That is going to be a service error by her into the net. That is going to make the score 21-19. As we have number 1 for Marshall number 7, excuse me, checking back into the game for Marshall. That'll be Shara Shank checking in for number 10, Shelby Conley. Shank is back to serve. She hits it over, dug out by IUPUI. Served over, dug out by Shank. Served over. Not served over, but hit over. Dug out by Marshall. Spiked over. Dug out by IUPUI. Served over, dug out by Marshall. Spiked. Dug out by IUPUI. Spiked by them. Dug out by Marshall. spiked. And that is going to be blocked by the Jaguars, but they hit it onto their own side. It is now going to be a score of 21-20 as Marshall tries to keep thundering back and tie this game up at 21 apiece. Shank hits it over, and that's going to be a service error by her. She serves it straight into the net as the Jaguars now have a 2-point lead, leading 22-20. And now back to serve for IUPUI Jaguars is going to be Ellie Gaskill as they try to take this fourth set and force a set 5. It is served by them. It is going to be killed by Marshall. The score is now 22-21 in favor of the Jaguars. Marshall is going to try to keep thundering back. It is now going to be served by Amber Weber for Marshall. And she serves it over. It is dug out by IUPUI. That's going to be hit out of bounds, and the comeback is complete, 22-22. We are tied at 22. Now back to serve for them again is going to be Autumn Weber. It is hit over, dug out by IUPUI. That is going to be now a kill by the Jaguars, bringing our score to 23-22 in favor of IUPUI. Back to serve for IUPUI is going to be number 8, Rebecca Schlapty. She hits it over. Dug out by Marshall. Dug out by IUPUI now. Spiked, dug out, set, and spiked! Blocked! Blocked by IUPUI. But unfortunately onto their own side, and now we are tied at 23 apiece. Let's see. Looks like number 2 for Marshall. That's going to be Jaden Jacobs is coming into the game for Gabrielle Coulter. And Jaden Jacobs is going to be back there to serve for them. She serves it over. It's dug out by them. It is dug out by Marshall now. Served over, blocked. Dug out again. Served over, not served. It is now going to be a point for Marshall. 24-23, set point for Marshall as the Jaguars take their second and final timeout of the set.
And Marshall is doing everything I said that they needed to do at the beginning of this. They needed to keep composure. They're doing a lot of great things. They need to get over the hump, and they've gotten over the hump, and one more point ends the game. They're 2-1 coming out of this tournament, basically placing second, so to speak, in this tournament. They're doing a great job so far. IUPUI, on the other hand, they need to make sure that this one doesn't slip away from them. Obviously, both teams just need 1 point. At this point, you got to go point by point. Every point matters at this point. You got to go point by point. Just win this volley. That's it. That's what it has to be for both teams. Marshall, to me, looks more confident. They look more ready. We'll see what happens here. It should be good.
And there are quite a few Marshall Thundering Herd fans here as they are trying to cheer their team on to a victory. And back to serve for Marshall as they try to win this final game of the BGSU Invitational is going to be Jaden Jacobs. They're just about ready to get back underway. She serves it over. It is dug out by them. It's going to be blocked! Hit over, dug out by Marshall. Hit over, dug out by IUPUI now. Dug out by, and that's going to be a point for IUPUI, tying the game up at 24 apiece. Checking back into the game for Jaden Jacobs is going to be Gabrielle Coulter. And checking into the game as well is going to be number 17, Sierra DeBell. It's going to be served by IUPUI. Hit up by Sierra DeBell. By Coulter, then back by That's going to be a kill by them. That's going to be 25-24 for the Marshall Thundering Herd. Match point for them. Let's see. Shelby Conley checks into the game for, I believe, Sarah Shank. Back to serve is going to be Sierra DeBell. Dug out by IUPUI. Hit over, dug out by Sierra DeBell. Hit over, and that's going to be a double hit! That's going to be a double hit as Marshall wins this one, 26-24, and they come out of this BGSU Invitational theoretically in second place, going out 2-1, and then now IUPUI has gone 1-2, theoretically in third place, and then Nichols State will have gone 0-3.
Yeah, this one, I think went four sets, was very close to going 5. Definitely, probably the most contested game of this whole event here from this weekend. Both teams did a great job. Both teams played with a lot of passion, but unfortunately, Marshall was able to come out on top.
I mean,
unfortunately for IUPUI.
I mean, it is fitting that the best game, I think, best game and closest game is the last game of this BGSU Invitational.
Yeah, and we're just going to go over the couple of leaders, and then we're going to get ready to sign out. This, for Marshall, the leader in kills was Sierra DeBell with 26. She also led Marshall, or excuse me, she did not lead Marshall. The leader for Marshall in digs was Weber, I believe. Yeah, Amber Weber. And the leader in assists was by far Gabriella Coulter, who had 52 assists on the day. Great job. I heard you say she was like the John Stockton of the Marshall team today.
For IUPUI, the leader for them in kills is going to be Elizabeth Scott. And then, let's see, the leader in digs for them is going to be by far Rihanna Shemin. And then the leader in assists is going to be by far Rebecca Schlechte, who had 29 assists on the afternoon.
And that'll do it here from Bowling Green, Ohio. This has been Shane Nissen and Ethan Price. Before we go, we want to call a couple of thank yous. I want to thank Jim Barnes, the chief engineer here for the BGRSO. I want to thank the faculty advisor, Ken Garland. And finally, well, two other people. I want to thank Brendan Hall, who currently is doing the BGSU football game. That'll be on Falcon Radio you can get that on the TuneIn app. The game has already started, so they'll be live. He'll be doing that with Chase Bachman. Chase Bachman and Brendan Hall will be on the call for that. The Bowling Green versus Kentucky at the Dwight L. Perry Stadium. I want to give a thank you to Brendan Hall. He's the exec director. He's the one who put us on this game and gives us this opportunity. And then lastly, I want to thank my partner, Ethan Price, for a job well done today and calling this one. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. It's been a pleasure to call this one. Again, Marshall wins 3-1, and that'll be it from us. This is Bowling Green. This is the Bowling Green Radio Sports Organization, and this was the Bowling Green Volleyball Invitational. Goodbye.